Hello, bonjour Alberta. Did you know that at least 238,000 people speak Français in Alberta? And those numbers just keep on growing? Oui, oui, c'est vrai, it's true. And thanks to Shaw TV Community Access Programming, we get to reach out to everyone to let you know all about special people, places, events, and activities happening right here in this great province, in both English and en français. That's right, mes amis. We begin the first part of our program in English, and then we repeat it en français. So stay with us. Restez à l'écoute.
Welcome et bienvenue to Hello Bonjour Alberta. I'm Marc Lalonde, your host. Did you know that Canada has a national music centre located right here in Calgary, Alberta? It is intended to be a platform on which Canadians can build stronger relationships with each other and explore the power of music. To find out more about this fascinating concept, we're very pleased to welcome Naomi Grattan, Director of Organizational Development at the National Music Centre. Welcome, Naomi.
Thank you.
Let's get started by finding out a little bit more about you yourself. Very briefly, where are you from?
Sure. I'm born and raised in Ottawa, and have spent most of my career working in museums, both in Ottawa and in other parts of the world, and ended up here in Calgary working on this fantastic project.
So do you have a personal connection with music?
Well, I played the flute very badly in middle school. I picked it because it fit in my bicycle basket.
I see. Okay. And how do you get to be Director of Organizational Development for something like this?
Well, how do you get to be in this job? I love spreadsheets, and I've known our CEO for a long time, and my background is communications and exhibitions development in museums, and so I love to get things done. And so Andrew was looking to grow his team, and he thought, Naomi can turn her hand to a lot of things. So he asked me to come out and join the team about 3.5 years ago.
Oh, okay. And it's been fun?
It's so much fun. It's crazy, but it's fun.
Okay, so what is the National Music Centre? Where does it come from? How long has it been around?
So the National Music Centre can trace its roots back to the installation of the organ in the Jack Singer Concert Hall.
Yes.
Which gave rise to an organ festival and a concert, and then a concert series, and then a collection of instruments sort of grew alongside that. And in, I believe it's 1990, if memory serves, the organ festival and the collection of instruments came together and became the beginnings of Cantos Music Foundation. And then in 2012, we changed our name, declared ourselves to be the National Music Centre, and haven't looked back since.
Wow, so that's quite a collection of events that all had to happen the right way to end up where you're at now.
Very organic.
All right. Now, facilities. National Music Centre, we got a building.
Yes.
Where are you now, and where will you be soon?
So right now we're on 11th Ave Southeast in a heritage building where we have our collection stored. And we have a small performance space where we do events. We do roughly 200 events a year in that space. We are moving to 9th Avenue Southeast, so a couple of blocks north from where we are now, to our new facility, which will open next year.
All right, and this is the facility that's this wild building that's being built around the old King Eddie Hotel, well, the reconstruction essentially of the King Eddie, is it?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Tell us about that building. Tell us, we were talking earlier, there's some really interesting aspects inside and out.
Yes, so the building itself was designed by architect Brad Clopeville of Portland, Oregon. It's 160,000 square feet over 5 floors, spanning across 4th Street. We have a plus 65 sky bridge that goes across the street. And the building itself comprises 20,000 square feet of exhibitions, a cafe and gift shop, the King Eddie Hotel and Bar, some recording studios with vintage sound equipment. The Rolling Stones mobile truck will be permanently parked beside the Eddie. and it's going to be one fantastic building.
My goodness. Yeah, I've seen some pictures of it, I guess some drawings of it on your website, and it's kind of hard to believe. That's going to be really something in this city.
It really is.
For sure. Okay, so what aspects of music in Canada are included in the centre's collection and will be included in the eventual exhibitions?
The vision for our collection is to tell the stories of music in Canada writ large. So all genres, all time periods, all parts of the country. Our collection has its roots in pianos and keyboards and sound equipment, but we also are home to the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame collection. And we have a partnership with CARIS, the organization that hosts the Junos, to house the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. We're also working with the Songwriters Hall of Fame. So our hope is that we will become the place where storied musical artifacts and instruments come home to live.
So how far back do you go? Do you include First Nations music, for example?
Of course, of course. We go back, I mean, as humans have always played music, and so it's as far back as we go.
My goodness. That's must be quite the challenge to get all of that covered. How many people are working on all of that?
Well, there's quite a few. Our staff is about 30 full-time staff, but of course we have a large construction team, we have an architectural team, we have an exhibitions design team, we have a number of consultants helping us put all of the pieces of the puzzle together.
Wow. When it's all together, and you already do have services, as you said, the collection is housed right now. It's not on display, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
And you do have a space for presentations.
That's correct.
But once the building is up, can you kind of make us a list of what we can expect? What kind of presentations and events will take place? What programs that you have, outreach programs in the area and also across the country?
Sure. We organize our programming in 4 streams. So we think of our programs in terms of education, so curriculum-connected education programs, public performance, so everything from lecture series to film to musical performance to anything at all that you could think you could do in a theater space. We have a 300-seat theater and lots of other flexible spaces in the building. So the sky's the limit there as to what we can do. We of course have 20,000 square feet of exhibitions which tell the story of music in Canada, and then we have an artist incubation program, so where we make our collection available to artists to come and create new work and have time and space to play music.
Wow. And what parts of those might we see elsewhere in Alberta and in the country?
Elsewhere, I mean, you often see incubation programs for artist development. Of course, we have lots of great museums that have lots of exhibitions. Our collection of musical instruments, however, is extremely rare, and really there isn't a collection to parallel it anywhere else that I know of. And the fact that we make that collection available to artists to use, such that it's a living collection, is extremely unusual.
Might there be arrangements made with other museums elsewhere in Canada to have an exposition of some of that, your content?
Certainly. So we do have a number of partnerships with a number of Canadian museums, the Canada Museum of Science and Technology, the Canadian Museum of History. We work a lot with the Montreal Museum of Fine Art, and so, you know, those are partners with whom we hope to do things in the future.
All right, all right. Musical artifacts, instruments. Do you have any favorites from the collection that you can tell us about?
Any favorites? I love our theater organ. We have a theater organ from the time of silent movies, and I love it because it's crazy. It's huge, and it's controlled by what looks like an organ keyboard, except that it plays percussion and cymbals and marimba and all kinds of noises, and has a bird whistle, and
so it's a sound effects machine at the same time as a musical instrument. Yeah. What does it sound like? Does it sound like a pipe organ? Does it sound like a church organ? It can, a piano?
It doesn't really sound like a piano. It's hard to, It sounds like a one-man band is the best way I can describe it.
Wow. And is that going to be permanently installed somewhere in the center?
It will be. We permanently installed in the heart of the building on our 3rd floor. So
it's there to be seen and played by whoever's got the guts to do it.
Well, it's quite difficult to play, but we do have a number of staff who can play it, and so we'll do regular performances with it.
All right, all right. So, how does this all come to be? Obviously, this is not a shoestring undertaking. What's the budget, for example? What's your capital budget for developing the building? Just
sure.
roughly?
Yeah, it's a big vision, so it's a big budget. But our capital campaign goal is $168 million, and to date we've raised 114 from all levels of government and from supporters and public sponsors and those kinds of organizations.
You've got people making monthly donations?
We do.
Kind of a plan?
We do. We'll kick off our fundraising campaign in a big way this spring. So people can start to expect to see more messaging around that, and some more fun with that. But we do have quite a number of wonderful supporters who support us regularly now. We're really grateful for that.
So in the weeks and months to come, we're going to be hearing quite a lot about the National Centre, are we?
I hope so. I hope so.
So you have a website?
We have a website.
Which is
And
which you can now read.
Yeah.
It's a very impressive website, I have to say.
Thank
I
you.
spent a fair bit of time on it today, and wow, there's all kinds of information in there.
Yeah.
Videos, contact information, information about
Lots of stories of music in Canada. One of the things we do try to do with that website is a lot of storytelling, and we have volunteers all across the country who contribute to it. So
I was watching a video clip, and boy, the names that you got to participate in that clip, it's just about a who's who, from Anne Murray all the way down through all the royalty, and through all the years.
We've had some great support from artists across Canada.
Okay. So looking further afield now, into the future, your organizational development, perhaps not so much artistic development, but what are some of the things that we might expect to see in the years and decades to come from the National Music Centre?
Well, next year, one very exciting thing is that the Junos will be in Calgary, so we will be host to a few events for that, and that we anticipate will be a great celebration. But I think what you can expect to see is just more of what we do now and what we do so well in terms of partnerships with so many organizations across the city and across the country. I really hope that it becomes a place where musicians feel it's a really special place. They feel really welcomed, and they think, I really have to get there. I have to play with that collection. I need to, be part of that community. And I hope that it's attractive not only to sort of, the world famous artists that see the opportunity in terms of their careers, but also for emerging artists, for younger talent. This is another place for them to hone their craft.
All right, great. So almost a sort of a Nashville North kind of an arrangement.
You could say that.
Or something to that effect. Anyway, thank you so much to our guest, Naomi Grattan, Director of Organizational Development for the National Music Centre. Please stay with us. We continue en français.